New Artist Spotlight Podcast.
Welcome everybody to the New Artist Spotlight Podcast. I am your host, Origin Cross, and just want to send a big shout out to everybody who's tuning in to us today. We have a very special guest on, so you know what we're going to do. We're going to get to know her better. New Artist Spotlight Podcast is your plug to some of the best new music from indie artists from around the world. And so without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Kele Fleming.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, exciting. And on NAS's birthday.
Happy birthday, NAS. Like, look at that. 3 years deep. And it's so weird seeing it like grow how it has. Because how long have you been a part of NAS?
I think a year and a half. I think I am kind of losing track of the years. I think I joined in late 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I was probably like late or very early, like late 2020 or early 2021, something like that. I've been here for a while.
You were there at the beginning.
Apparently there was a beginning before the beginning, so there was some stuff I missed.
Okay.
But I've been here for a long time, and it doesn't even seem like it's been that long.
Yeah.
Cool. And we'll get to talk a little bit more about NAS, but let's start off with you, right? For anybody who doesn't know you yet, give them an introduction to who you are, the type of music you make, and how you got started.
You bet. So I'm Kele Fleming, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Vancouver, Canada. I live in Victoria right now, so that's on the Pacific coast, so on the west coast of Canada. And I guess some would describe my music as folk rock, indie. But also I should mention that in the last year or so, mostly due to health reasons, because I haven't been able to get out in the world and tour and play live, I've become a remix or synthwave artist. So I've added synthwave to the folk rock singer-songwriter aspect of my music. And how did I get started? You know, I've been doing music for all my life, and I started out as a lead singer of an indie folk band, indie rock band. Hey, we have another mod joining us.
We have another mod. Boys and girls, NAS fans from around the world. Our co-host for the day, Mr. Rich Allen.
Yay.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to be part of this. I always love just talking and learning from other NAS artists. I mean, what a great community. How about it?
Isn't it?
It sure is.
We were just talking about that, and that it's NAS's third birthday, apparently.
Yes. Isn't it amazing? I just know that I've been around for about 2.5 years, and it's just been amazing. And I just love listening to all the new releases and even just kind of following the chats, what everybody's, talks about what they're doing or some struggles or whatever. It's just an amazing community. And how thankful we are as independent artists to have this community. So how did you come to NAS?
Absolutely. How did I come to NAS? Well, it was during the height of the pandemic lockdown. I think like for a lot of people, I turned to the socials and social media to make connections with other artists. And how did I come across the New Artist Spotlight? I think a couple of artists. Well, one I know very well, Catherine from Blue Dirt Girl. We're both Vancouver people. So I think she texted me one day and said, "Hey, have you heard of the New Artist Spotlight?" And then I think another newish friend that I met over social media during the lockdown was Coastal Town. And they messaged me too and said, "Hey, have you heard of the New Artist Spotlight?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, everybody keeps asking me. So let's check it out." So I think that's how I came to discover NAS was was through word of mouth, through other artists, which
Yeah.
is usually how these things work.
Isn't that so awesome? And they're both pretty impressive artists in their own right. So when I was asked, I took it as a compliment because I was checking out the talent there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So it's just so impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been really dope watching the artists develop and grow over the last year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, all our different lengths of time being here, and just watching it, just everybody help each other develop, right, and contribute to the process. Everybody's growing.
Yeah. I'd like to say I don't have a competitive nature, but when I hear some of the stuff that people do, it inspires me so much that I just want to pick up my instrument and try to even do as good or if not better, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that's how it is with all artists, right? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think I'm inspired by other artists for sure, hearing and seeing what they're doing. So to me, I guess I think of the New Artist Spotlight as kind of like a community garden for music. I don't know. I think there's a little something for everyone. There's so many different genres. There's such a great community feel, and people from all over. So just the diversity of musical genres and then the ideas that come with that is pretty amazing. Just being inspired by that. And as you said, Rich, like just exploring the artist chat and the people's thoughts on different things that are top of mind for indie artists, like payola on the streaming platforms, or how do you get YouTube subscribers, or how do you find a booking agent, or what about sync licensing? Like all those things that are, as an indie artist, can be pretty inscrutable from the outside. So having like all hundreds of minds thinking together on that is pretty incredible.
It sure is. Yeah, that's amazing.
And you talk about like the mixes of genres and everything that is available in New Artist Spotlight, right? You spoke a little bit about it. You've been kind of mixing in some new genres into your more folky sound, right? And I know one thing you've been working with Atlas to Earth on some songs and things. So I kind of just wanted to know, like, as far as your process in creating songs, like what all do you do? And then as far as like working with someone like Atlas to Earth, like what are they contributing? And then what is that kind of relationship like, that dynamic?
Yeah, great question. And I have to give a shout out to Coastal Town again, because I connected with Atlas to Earth through Coastal Town. I put a shout out on my social media one day saying that I was looking for remixers or producers to work with, because I was having some health challenges just right after the pandemic lockdown ended. So I wasn't able to get right back out there into live music and touring. So I wanted to kind of keep myself out there. So decided to do a whole bunch of remixes of my songs. So connected with Atlas to Earth, and his real name's Brett Jansen, and he's a composer, producer, and he creates music for video games. And so we connected, and he was totally game to remix some of my stuff. And I couldn't be happier with what he's done. I love what he's done, because he's taken my folky, well, not really folky. I'll have an internal argument as an artist, like, what is my genre actually? But my singer-songwriter based music, and turned it into something completely new. And he's done, I would say, 3 synthwave remixes together and 1 EDM. And the process really is, we've never met in person. We've only communicated over email and a little text. And so basically he asks me for the vocal stems, and off he goes. And he creates this lush synthwave soundscape around my vocals, which is amazing. And, it kind of brings me back to my earlier days in the club scene when I would go out dancing. And I think, yeah, these are kind of songs that I would dance to. So I love hearing my voice in that context. It's just not something I ever imagined I'd be doing. So I'm pretty excited and thrilled with the outcome.
I don't know. It still kind of takes me back that like just over the last maybe like 3 years, it's really become so frequent and so easy for artists to collaborate like that, right? Like artists who we've never met, we've had conversations through text or whatever, and we can sit here and in different places at the same time, but make great music together and have a product at the end that we're both happy with. That's just been such a cool thing to witness over just these last few years. And it was spurred on by something obviously tragic, but it forced us to adapt and to grow, which I think is a really cool consolation prize, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. This pandemic silver lining for sure. Hey.
I think it shows a tremendous amount of courage as well as trust and faith to lend somebody else take your art and your creation and kind of mold it and be open-minded to that. It's really kind of cool when something else kind of just evolves out of it. And I guess that comes with taking a chance, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah, I think so. Yep. You open that door and go through it and you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, I have to say the first time I heard the first remix Brett did for me was it was a synthwave remix of my song Vanishing of Bees. And the original of that song was recorded with my band, and it has a banjitar on it. So it's got really kind of some classic folk instruments in it, but with an indie rock sound built around it. So when I first heard the synthwave remix, I have to say, I was like, I don't know about this. Like, it was so different. It took my own ear like a couple of listens to be okay with it. But then once I just love it. I kind of never looked back.
And so a couple of the remixes have been on that particular song, Vanishing of Bees, right?
Yeah.
Why so much focus on the one song?
Yeah, I guess, the last album that's a good question too. The last album I put out was called The Song All Right for My Whole Life. And that's a line from that song, a lyric from that song, The Vanishing of Bees. And when I first released that song in the context of the album cycle, the original song, I released it as a fundraiser for the David Suzuki Foundation, which is a big environmental organization here in Canada. And my particular concern with having that as a fundraiser for that was looking at restoration and recovery of pollinator habitat. Just when I was writing the album, I was, I guess, starting to wake up a little bit to the climate crisis and understanding that with the global warming and the things that were going on, that we were in a bit of a tenuous position. So that song's kind of become my marching song or my battle cry in a way, in terms of thinking about how music and art can hopefully get people to pay attention to some of the serious issues that are going on around us. I mean, and that's just one angle of a serious issue in the world. There's so many things to think about and to pay attention to. And I think that song for me is, when I initially wrote it, I wanted to capture the wonder of a child kind of discovering the world and the natural world for the first time, and contrast that with an adult kind of realizing like, holy, like, what have we done? And so I really wanted that to come through in the song. And Brett, when he did the remixes, the two remixes, he really ran with that. So the first synthwave remix, I feel, really kind of captures that, captures the celebration, but also the grief. There's some grief and terror in that synthwave remix. And then the second one, which I just released, the dance mix, it's more of a celebration and more looking at that joy and kind of release. And he suggested the title for it, the Set Me Free remix, which is another line in the song, just to kind of focus on let's have people focusing on, the positive and things that we can change, and we still have time to make some changes. So I think, that was a long answer to your question, but that's kind of what it's all about for me. And without bees, we'd be nowhere. Like, they're responsible. Bees and other like pollinators are responsible for 90% of the things that we eat. So without them, we wouldn't exist. And a lot of other creatures on this fair planet would not either.
So I know for me, I kind of look at it as like you kind of have to pick your cause, right? Because I mean, there are, like you said, there are a lot of different things that are going on in the world, right? And you can't fight for every single thing, right? You kind of have to pick what hits you the hardest and run with that. So obviously with songs like this and this, like you said, it's kind of your marching song. Is this your cause? Is it kind of around like nature and climate and those type of issues, or over other types of issues, or how would you kind of say for your catalog what your topics are that you want to address or that you want to champion?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that, because I think that it's all connected. So everything's connected. So if I'm singing a song about bees, I think under the kind of the undercurrent for everything I do as an artist is the belief that love can change the world. Like, love can change and heal everything. So when I write a song or create something, it may be about a particular topic. So this one's about bees. I guess I have some other songs that have touched on women who work in the survival sex trade in a neighborhood in the city that I lived in for many years in Vancouver. It's called the Downtown East Side, and the level of poverty and kind of societal abandonment that happens in that part of the city I lived in is just horrific. I haven't been everywhere in the world, but I haven't seen anywhere like it in the first world. And so I wrote a series of songs after spending time volunteering in the neighborhood. So, and I kind of, I saw through that experience just the power of community and the power of people working together, both who lived in the neighborhood and who would come into the neighborhood to contribute and be there with the women who worked in the survival sex trade. And I guess I feel like there's so many things to focus on in art, and I'm kind of rambling a bit, but I guess I'm trying to just key in on the multiplicity of themes and threads and issues that are present in our world that need our attention and need our love. And I hope that through music and kind of throwing a little spotlight on something in the topic of a song, a 3-minute song, that it might move somebody's heart and maybe change someone's mind. So I guess that's kind of why I do it.
Wow, you are such a beautiful person. I just give you props.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do believe what you're doing is beautiful. And when you can create a stream of consciousness through your lyrics and your music, that's a beginning, because that's what people have to start to do, is at least start thinking about it and moving forward. And that's great. I just props. You could be my best friend. I mean, you're the kind of people that I gravitate to. Well done. I love it.
Thank you. Well, I kind of feel like there's so many artists that I've connected with in the New Artist Spotlight who are creating music and art for many reasons. But I guess I see that underpinning a lot of the things that I see in other podcasts, people talking about the reason why they create art, the reason why they're musicians, and just listening to the music too. There's so many minds and hearts out there all pulling together. I have to believe that is going to make a difference somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I so believe that as well. Yeah, well done. That's great.
Thanks.
So we've been talking about Vanishing of Bees for a little bit now. So
Yeah.
obviously that's the song we're going to be listening to today. So please introduce the song, any extra backstory you want us to know on it, which remix version is this? And yeah, let's take a listen.
Cool. Thank you. So this is the latest remix from Atlas to Earth of my song Vanishing of Bees, and it's called the Set Me Free remix, and it's dancey, and yeah, it's got good summer vibes, and I think that's all I want to say about it. We've said a lot about it so far.
Wait, please give us the intro.
All right, this is Vanishing of Bees, Set Me Free from Kele Fleming and Atlas to Earth.
This is a song I'll write for my whole life. I'm made for the trees, set me free. Child in love with the trees, fell down to my knees. It's a horrible sound, set me free. Set me set me This is a song I'll write for my whole life. I'm made for the trees, set me free. Child in love with the trees, fell down to my knees. It's a horrible sound, set me free. Set me set me free.
So, when you first start off in your writing process, do you do the music first, or are they lyrics first, or can you talk a little bit about how your songs come to life, if you will?
Sure. Yeah, I love this question. It really depends. I don't have a set process. It's always different for me, and it also depends on whether I'm writing a song alone or writing with someone else, which I love doing. I've done a lot of collaborative songwriting. So if I'm writing by myself, I don't have one next to me, but I've got, dozens of books that I just scribble ideas down on. And when I'm walking around, which I do a lot, I carry my phone and I'll dictate something that'll come to me or sing a little passage. And sometimes it's just picking up one of these guys behind me and just playing a little riff or something, or a chord progression. So it really varies. And, inspirations drawn from multiple sources, like other music, which we talked about earlier, other artists, listening to other songs, something I read or hear, or just a sound out in the world around me.
When you lock onto that hook, that hook in your mind, so to speak, do you, and for me, then I can't do anything but just focus on it. and I lose track of time trying to get it right until the point I get frustrated. Yeah. For you, is that something that you get that hook that you just got to kind of figure out what the next line is, or do you kind of let it marinate and kind of let it come to life?
Yeah, I like how you said, if you got to hook on and keep going, because I think, I do that too. And I feel like I know when a song is going to come to life, because I feel like it gets in my bones and in my cells, and it won't leave me. I'll start dreaming about it. It'll just be in my head. And then it'll be I'll wake up the next morning and it'll be oh, okay, I'm going to pick up my guitar and play that song again.
Yeah. Isn't that a beautiful thing? I love it. I don't know where it comes from either. So yeah, wow. That's great.
I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe we're listening to something out there, we're gifted these songs.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I believe that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the number ticking up at the top, and usually when that pops up, it's kind of like it's a marker for a turning point in the episode. It's where something usually happens right around this time in an interview, and I'm trying to. I got it. Quick fire 5. And you get no more than 15 seconds to answer each question. 5 questions, rapid fire. If you miss one, you're banned forever. We'll never see you.
Oh no.
No.
A big hand will come down and pluck me out.
You get slimed.
Absolute Nickelodeon style. So, Rich, this is going to be your first time with the questions. So here are the basic rules. You be merciless. They can't waffle. They can't ride the fence. They have to give you a straight up answer. And I mean, you don't have any scripted questions, so you gotta think of them, because after
I have to ask 5 real quick.
You're gonna ask 5 real quick. We're gonna go back and forth.
So, let's do back and forth.
I'll go first.
Yes, sir.
I'll do 3. You do 2. But
I love it. All right.
So first question, easy one, should be: what's your favorite song on the New Artist Spotlight playlist?
Oh my goodness. That's not easy. That's super hard. There's so many. I want to pick them all. I guess right now I'm kind of in love with Emily Gray's new song. I also Mercury Teardrops, Epoch 2140, I think. Charles Connolly's The Birthday Song. I love that one. In Europe in the summertime, there's something about that song, and I said this to him, that reminds me of Joni Mitchell's The Hissing of Summer Lawns. I have no idea why, but just whenever I hear his song, it's stuck in my head.
I'm sure you're out of time for the first question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Which NAS artist would you like to share the stage with?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'm going to say, again, it's hard to pick one. Can I pick two? Wait, how about Her Kingdom? Okay, I'll say Her Kingdom.
Okay, great.
Love that.
What song would you
Sorry.
most like played at your funeral?
Fleetwood Mac's Songbird, written by Christy McVie. I love that song.
Beautiful song. Okay. Which artist would you like to have dinner with and or a few beers if you partake?
A NAS artist or just any artist?
Any artist. Let's open it up.
Okay. Patti Smith.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very eclectic taste.
What for you would be the definition of a successful career?
Another great question.
I think two things: staying true to what my vision is, and kind of myself as an artist and my self-expression, and earning a livable wage as an artist.
There you go. All right. I'm thinking that's like 4 out of 5 as far as time goes. And the first answer, you picked too many people.
I did. So is this where I get slimed?
Yeah,
I don't think you get slimed. At least you answered the question. The last time somebody didn't even answer 2 questions. So
Okay.
we're not gonna go soft on you, but we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it.
Awesome. So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So time is winding down. So I definitely want to make sure I give you the opportunity to tell us what you got coming down the line, what we can expect from you next.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple of songs coming out over the summer, which I'm really excited about. 2 more remixes, not with Atlas to Earth this time, because Atlas to Earth, or Brett and his partner, just had a baby. So he is otherwise occupied for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a new remix coming out July 7th, done of my song, The Great Acceleration, done by a fantastic Vancouver artist named Devours. I'm really excited about this one, and I'm releasing it around Pride. And in August, I have another remix coming out by a new artist, Spotlight artist, which I'm also super excited about. It's by Mercury Teardrop, and
Wow.
It's my song In My Dream. And yeah, it's pretty, again, it's so different from the original song. I just love what he's done with it. It's pretty neat. So can't wait to share that with you all. And then I've got some summer festival performances and shows coming up in kind of my region, which I'm excited about too.
Nice. And I know there's a large NAS Canada, so hopefully some of us can get out there and support. Before we wrap up, please tell everybody where they can find you on social medias, where they can stream your music.
Okay, so it's Kele Fleming, and my first name is spelled Kele. So if you look me up, that's who you're looking for. You'll find me on Spotify, Apple Music, on all the other streaming platforms, and on social media. I'm really active on Instagram under Tin Forest Pics. So tin like the metal, forest like a group of trees, PIX. And I also follow that through on Twitter. So I'm Tin Forest on Twitter and Tin Forest Vids on TikTok. And Facebook, Kele Fleming Musician. And my website, tinforest.com. So a lot of Tin Forest in there.
Well, Rich, thank you for hopping on last minute for us. Definitely
My
a pleasure
honor.
to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I had a great time.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks
glad.
both for having me. It was so fun. I loved the conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so great to talk with you. Both of you.
Both of you too. Great,
Yeah,
great
it's
to
great.
put faces to the names
Yeah.
and speak to you. I've listened to your music so much, so it's great to meet you both.
I appreciate that.
Want to thank everybody that has been supporting New Artist Spotlight. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back again. So thank you guys. Peace out.
Thanks. Bye.
New Artist Spotlight.